Hi, I'm Tim from Novacraft Canoe, and today we're just going to do a short video on Gelcoat repairs. In order to fix your canoe after you've been using it, having fun, hitting rocks, maybe dropping it on the portage trail, you're probably going to develop a few chips and maybe some cracks in your Gelcoat. And in order to facilitate that repair, we have a Gelcoat repair kit. It's a pretty simple process. Any person that's reasonably handy can get the job done. In the kit, we have a small bottle of color-matched Gelcoat, so you have to specify the color of your canoe. A small bottle of catalyst, mixing stick, 3 grits of sandpaper, and an instruction sheet. It's a really good idea to read this and follow the instructions because it'll make the job easier and you'll have way better results at the end of it. These Gelcoat repair kits are available through your dealer, or you can order them directly from us. If we have to ship it or mail it out to you, then we cannot ship this because this is a dangerous substance, the MEK catalyst. So you're going to have to go to an auto body supply place and they will have it, and you just ask for clear hardener. And they will have small bottles like that. Other tools you're going to need are a utility knife. You're going to need something to chip away the little edges of the Gelcoat. If it's just a fine hairline crack, you cut it into a V to give the Gelcoat something to fill. An applicator. This is a plastic auto body spatula, or you can just use a putty knife. Works well. Some kind of mixing cup. We use little Dixie cups here. If you're mixing a fair bit, you use the main compartment of the cup. If you're just mixing a little bit for a chip or something like that, you just use the bottom of the cup. That works really well. Some gloves are a good idea. The Gelcoat will stain your fingers. If you wear some gloves, it makes cleanup easier. Something to cover the Gelcoat with. You can use wax paper or mylar film. Most people have wax paper. You're going to put it over top of the wet Gelcoat, smooth it out. If you don't do that, Gelcoat is what's called air inhibited, and the surface will remain tacky if you don't cover it. So then it makes it really hard to sand and get it smooth at the end. If you need more Gelcoat than what's in these Gelcoat repair kits, we also sell liter cans of Gelcoat. So again, you're going to have to specify what color of your canoe is before you order that. That's about it. That's about what you need. And now we'll go to the shop, show you how it's done. Okay, we're out in the shop now, and Ben Mills is going to show us how to do a Gelcoat repair on an Aramid Lite prospector. This one has a small crack in the side of the canoe. So first off, he's going to chip away all the loose Gelcoat right around the edges of the crack. This is an Aramid canoe, so the Aramid fabric will fray up, which makes the repair more difficult. So he's being careful not to cut into the fabric and get it frayed, because once that happens, it's really hard to get rid of that on an Aramid canoe. Same technique will work on a TuffStuff or a blue steel canoe or a fiberglass canoe. If he had a real hairline crack here, he would just use his utility knife to cut the crack into a V so it has something to fill. So first off, he starts out with 100 grit sandpaper and just sands around the edge, so the new Gelcoat has something to stick onto. Again, he was careful not to sand the actual Aramid fiber to keep it smooth. Then he masks the area off just to make cleanup easier at the end, and wipes the area off with some acetone just to make sure there's no grease or dirt left on there. Makes the Gelcoat bond better. Then he's just going to mix up some Gelcoat. Takes the catalyst and just adds 4 or 5 drops of catalyst. You don't need a lot of catalyst. You put too much catalyst in, it's going to go off really fast, and if you don't have experience, you're just going to end up with a big mess. So don't use too much catalyst. And then he's using the plastic spatula to apply it. Puts a little bit on the spatula, or you could use a punny knife here, and just flows that into the crack, keeping it as smooth as possible as he goes. When he gets it on there as much as he wants to make sure it's all filled in, then just takes his wax paper, starts at one end and gently smooths it out. Again, you want to work out as many air bubbles as possible. Then he takes that and you can kind of stretch the wax paper out to keep it smooth. Then after he gets that all set up, basically going to wait for 2 or 3 hours till it's set up. After a few hours, you come back and you check it, just poke it with your finger and make sure it's hard, and then peel the wax paper off. And then you start sanding it smooth. Start off with 100 grit. You're not going to use 100 grit for very much, just for the basic area that you've filled in to get it feather the edges a little bit. Again, you want to try and just sand the patch, because you don't want to sand the existing gel coat or you'll end up sanding through. Then after the dry 100 grit sandpaper, he moves over to the wet 600 grit sandpaper. Again, just sanding the patch as much as possible and feathering the edges, trying to avoid sanding the original gel coat as much as possible. After he gets the edges feathered in to his liking, then he moves to the 1000 grit wet sandpaper. This puts a nice polish on the canoe. For a final step, if you want to get a nice shiny repair on your canoe, you can buff it with some rubbing compound. We have an electric buffer here, but you could also do this by hand. Brings the shine back up to your canoe and leaves it looking almost like new. There you have it. All ready to have more fun in your canoe. Thanks for watching.